So this movie follows Bill Paxton. It starts with Bill Paxton, whose character I believe is named Bill. Um, it starts with Bill Paxton, and he's going back to Nebraska or one of those other Nebraska-like states, and he is going to. Um, he's got his current girlfriend with him, who is I think a weather girl. So he's got his weather girl girlfriend, and he's got a pickup truck, and he's driving through to Nebraska to go meet with Helen Hunt, who is his ex wife. Um, I think her character is named Joe, but not like Joseph. It's like Jolene or Josephina, or but she's like one of those chicks that like she'll wear like a white tank top and like a flannel tied around her waist. She's nothing like Bill Paxton's current girlfriend, who's like she's like a city girl. She doesn't like being outside, and I don't think she likes Nebraska, um, or Wisconsin. Or do they get tornadoes in Wisconsin? Or wherever the hell they are, I don't know. I'm from New Jersey. I don't know anything about any other state. So okay, so they're going to meet Helen Hunt, and they get there, and he's like, "Could you just sign these papers?" And she's giving him a hard time. There's bad blood in their relationship. I don't know if they really explain where things went bad between the two of them, but it's obvious that they don't get along at all. But she's not signing the papers for some reason, so he's there, and he's trying to get her to sign the papers, and she's with her crew of people. There's this whole crew of people. They're storm chasers. So basically all they do is when there's a tornado, they go and look at it. I guess that's what storm chasers do. Um, so she is with her people, and they have their trucks, and they get the call, or one of their computers beep or something, and they go, oh crap, oh shit, we got to go look at this tornado. So they all jump, they all get super excited. It's like what they live for. And they all jump in their cars and stuff and take off. And Bill Paxton's like, fuck. Actually, Bill Paxton's kind of excited because he's been away in the city, and he's a former storm chaser. This is what him and Helen Hunt used to do. Probably what brought them together, um, in the first place, their love of tornadoes. So the yeah, so he gets in the car, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go look at this tornado with these fuckers." And his his current girlfriend is just like, what is this? What is the meaning of this? She's kind of like she is supposed to be us, the audience, who know nothing about tornadoes, because before I saw this movie, I didn't know anything about tornadoes, and now I know every single thing in the entire universe there is to know about tornadoes. Um, so she's asking him a million stupid questions. She's like, "What is a tornado? What is wind? Like, how does the weather happen?" She's a weather girl. Like, should she really be asking him these questions? She should probably know the answers to what wind is, at least. Um, so they go and they chase down this tornado, and it's crazy. It's like spinning around, and they have oh, you know what? They have a truck, and in the back of the truck, there's this canister that they're trying to release these little balls from. Oh, it's called Dorothy, is the name of it. So they want to release these little balls into the tornado. This is their mission. They want to drive a pickup truck into a tornado, hit a button so that this canister opens, releases these little balls with sensors into the tornado so that they could learn about the formation of tornadoes, and then they could use that information in a computer program to predict tornadoes in the future. Whatever they're trying to do, it doesn't fucking work. Like they spill those balls all over the road, and the guy is like, "Oh my fuck, this used to." I think some of the people in the some of the storm chasers. One was the dude from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Cameron, I think, was one of them, and I'm pretty sure Philip Seymour Hoffman was one of the other ones. But this was like before he was famous or before anyone respected him as an actor, I guess. This is when he was like a teenager almost. He had long blonde hair and he wore a backwards hat, and I think his whole character was all about like partying or something, or smoking weed or something like that. You're just like, man, let's just go look at the fucking tornadoes, man. It's just gonna be beautiful, you know? Or maybe he was, he might have been more peppy than that, but it's like, is he really? He's not a scientist. He's just a fucking like hippie who wants to go look at nature and enjoy nature. Anyway, so this canister falls during this trip, and all their sensors get all over the road, and it's all fucked up and stuff and broken. And they're like, this cost like $1 million, and I can't believe we screwed it up. But luckily, they have a second canister that they want to do later called Dorothy 2, I guess. Um, so they get back, and Bill Paxton's girlfriend is just like, I can't do this. I need to go. I'm going to go stay in the hotel. Because he still has to get Helen Hunt to sign the divorce papers, and she's giving him such a hard fucking time about it. Like, she's just like, I just like, why won't you just sign it, right? And then oh yeah, I know why, because they're still in love, of course. I mean, it's a fucking movie. Um, so so his girlfriend goes back to the hotel, and now he's kind of back. He's kind of in it again with these storm chasers. He's like, I mean, it's tornado season, so there's a tornado every 2 seconds, you know, and each tornado is crazier than the last one. There's this thing where they have to drive across this causeway, and there's two tornadoes, I think, on either side, and Helen Hunt's like, oh look, they're sisters, and then they're both on either side in the water, and then this cow comes flying by and goes, "Rrr," and he's like, oh, you don't see that every day, and then yeah, so that happens, and then there's another tornado where they just escape it because it was coming after them, because you know these tornadoes hunt people apparently. Um, so they escape this tornado by going into I think it's a garage, and they go into the kind of dip part where you can work underneath the cars, like in a garage, and that's how they survive a tornado. And then they end up at Bill Paxton's mom's, or maybe it's Helen Hunt's mom's. They ended up at someone's mom's, and she's got all these glass bottles and shit all over outside, and because she makes like glass bottle art, and they all clank when the tornado's coming, and she's like, I can't believe you're still hunting tornadoes, Bill Paxton. I thought you were over this. You wanted to move to Atlanta or wherever he lives now, and he's just like, well, you know, this whole time he's falling in love with storm chasing again. This is something that was built into him from it's just part of the fabric of who he is chasing tornadoes, and he's been trying to deny it because I guess of this falling out he had with Helen Hunt. But as this movie progresses, we see this it's starting to crack. He's just falling in love with storm chasing again. He's he's going wahoo and having a great time, and I think they play like fucking Leonard Skinner or whatever that band is when they go to chase storms, or they play some sort of rock and roll music because they all get like pumped up out of it. So a storm comes through and I think destroys the mom's house, and I think she dies. So you know, this time it's personal. These tornadoes are murdering our family members. Um, then I think him and his current girlfriend break up. She's just like, look, motherfucker, like, I just can't handle this lifestyle. You love tornadoes. I don't like tornadoes. I like buildings where there is no wind. Um, you need to just like, we just need to call it. We'll be very amicable. We'll just go our separate ways, you know. So he's distraught about that. Oh, and then this whole movie we're learning about, you know, we're continuously learning about tornadoes. We learn about the types of tornadoes there are. There's like classic categories or classifications. There's an F1 and an F2, or is that hurricanes? I think they're called Fs. Or it's either a T1 or an F1 and a 2. Whatever. It goes up to fucking 5. So you know this is leading to like a five. You know, like that's the tornado at the end of the movie, like the mother of all tornadoes. And Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton are just like, I seen one once, and oh, I don't want to think about that. You know, it's just like it's like the Bigfoot of fucking tornadoes. You know, like this F5 tornado. So now it's the end of the movie, and there is an F5 tornado, of course, and it's like destroying it. It's the size of a fucking town. Like it is just rolling through this flat state, and it's just ripping up everything. And there's school buses go flying, and boats and trees, and they're like, "Hey, look, a tornado can jam a piece of straw through a tree. That's how fast the wind is." Um, so yeah, it can jam straw through trees, but they end up in a farmhouse for some reason. Oh, they've fallen back in love by this point. She didn't sign the stupid divorce papers. His girlfriend left him, and now Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton are in love again, over their mutual love of tornadoes. And but now they're gonna get killed by a fucking tornado, of course. So their love is gonna kill them, I guess. But they um they get to like this farmhouse. Like the rest of before they get to the farmhouse, they got the F5 or whatever's coming after them. Uh, he's like, look, I know it's dangerous, but this is our last chance to release those little sensor balls from the beginning into the tornado, and then we'll never, they'll never kill another one of our family members' houses and kill them again. So that's what they do. They release these sensors into the tornado, but now they're in harm's way, so they have to get to this farmhouse or a shed or something, and they're inside the shed, and there's a scene. I guess it's like they go into the shed, and it's just full of fucking scythes and knives and all these pointed rakes and farm equipment. He's just like, nope, not this room. So then they run outside again, and then they go to like a shed down the hill, and it's like a water shed for the well, and it's got one single pipe for the well. And she's like, we're not going to survive this building is too flimsy. And he's like, oh, I got an idea. He takes off his belt. He ties the belt around, I guess, his arm, or him and her. Somehow ties the belt around him and her, and also the pipe. It's a very long belt. He ties it around him, her, and the pipe. So now the tornado comes, and why he has a belt in the first place is beyond me, because this tornado comes and it destroys the shed, and it picks them up, and they're like hanging there and suspended in the air as a tornado's trying to suck them in. And he took his belt off, right? His pants don't even come off. Okay, there's a tornado, something that can drive straw through a tree. It doesn't even have. It won't even pull. His pants are so tight that this wind that can do that is not even pulling his pants down. So why did he have a belt? I don't know. Maybe he had this idea that this might happen. I might need to tether myself to something at some point. It's a good thing that he did, though, because now him and Helen Hunt survive this tornado. They are sucked, and there's fucking debris flying everywhere. They get to the middle of the tornado, which is like this mythical thing they've been talking about the whole movie. They're like, well, nobody knows what is in the center of a tornado. They get to the center of a tornado, and it's just like the sun is shining, and it's beautiful, and there's like this moment of like respite, and they're just like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. And like, you knew if they were to die right then, they would be happy. But they don't, because it's a movie. So the tornado passes, it breaks up like 2 seconds later, and they're both sitting there, and they're acting post orgasm, because this is just like they just got whatever this is what they wanted out of life, is to fucking be inside a tornado, and they got it, and they got to do it together. And that is the final nail in this coffin of love that they've built. Like, these two people are just meant for each other, because anybody else in that situation would hate it, but they seem to enjoy it. And so he turns to her, and she's like, well, we made it. And he like rips the divorce papers up, and they kiss. And that's the end of the movie. We all learned a little something about ourselves along the way.